If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can also be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. How about that? Everything you need to make a podcast is all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you for listening. Today's show is in honor of my sister, April Riley, who I lost 4 years ago to stage 4 pancreatic cancer on today. So we're going to get off into that momentarily. And then the second part of our show, we have a very phenomenal young woman who is a cancer survivor, Miss Sabrina Moore. She is an author. She is a mother. She is a wife. She is an entrepreneur, a businesswoman. So we are excited to bring her on the show as well. So as I stated, you guys are in for such an awesome show. You don't want to miss this show. Tell your friends, your family, your loved ones to tune in. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on this great show. It is always a pleasure having you. We appreciate our listeners all across the world. We could not do this without your support. I lost my young sister, April Riley, to stage 4 pancreatic cancer. As I stated, today marks the 4th anniversary of her death. She was only 35 years old when she passed away on that unforgettable May 18th, 2016. When my 35-year-old sister April died of cancer, life hit me like a freight train. That moment in my life changed me. My world was shattered, turned upside down. All I felt was grief as my family tore apart. Losing April has been a troublesome term for me to accept. At first, I blamed myself and wished I could have taken her place instead. Initially, coping with this grief felt as if someone had ripped my heart out. It seemed like something was sucking the breath from my lungs all at once. I hated myself for being so helpless. I was also going through an uncertain custody battle, and so angry all of this was happening. The death of my sister and being separated from my children for the first time caused insurmountable grief. April had advanced cancer, and we did not think that it would be happening as quickly, especially after being misdiagnosed, then being told there was nothing they could do because she was already experiencing stage 4 pancreatic cancer phases. Watching my sister experience severe weight loss, not having the answers, and knowing that my life would never be the same. We knew nothing could have prepared us for what the hospice care nurse was about to share. She said April only had 7 days remaining on hospice care. All we could do at this point is to make her comfortable, give her the prescribed morphine. On the early morning of May 18, 2016, while staying over my mother's home, from her basement I heard something drop to the floor. It was either my sister or the tablet she held every night before going to sleep. I ran upstairs and noticed my sister was no longer breathing. I had the most significant responsibility as the eldest brother, and that was to tell everyone that April just passed away. I sat there for a moment, holding her hand as I prayed over her body. I kissed her for the last time. The game was over. April was the light of our lives. She was the most selfless and the kindest person you could ever meet. April held all of the siblings together. She was the greatest aunt a child could ever have. A part of me left with her. I disbelieve she is no longer physically here. As we deal with this depressing moment, we can share the memories and knowledge April left for each of us. My sister was on a spiritual journey and wanted to make amends before she left. I know that you are in a much better place, looking down upon all of us with your bright and radiant smile. April was indeed an inspiration, a warrior, and a beautiful human being. She was the best, and I miss her too so much. Not a day goes by when I don't think of my sister, when I don't mourn her loss. think about her physically being here with us. Just to see her face to face, to hug her, to be in her presence, it brought a lot of joy to my life and to my children's as well. She was the only constant companion that my children knew aside from me. She would always tell me, hey bro, I know you need a break. Bring my niece and nephew on over here for the weekend. And I don't think she'll just keep them for about a day or two. And she was always full of surprises because she'd say, bro, why you at my house? I'm keeping them for like a whole week, so go ahead and do what you need to do. Go work, go grind. I mean, she would just always be full of surprises, very energetic, very knowledgeable, very tech savvy. Oh my God. And AP, that's what we called her, AP. She was a fashion diva. I mean, this girl had so much class and fashion, and you see her in a different wardrobe, different shoes, glasses, shades, all types of stuff all the time. And she always had this swag. I remember seeing my sister for the very first time in 2004 after I reunited with my family. And she had these locks, these beautiful locks. And she had been growing her locks for years. When she came from the A, from Atlanta to St. Louis, she had called me and was like, yo, bro, I need you to fly me in town, bro. I need you to give me a plane ticket, bro. I'm coming to St. Louis. I'm coming home. And so I paid for her plane ticket, got her to St. Louis, and you know, she was here ever since up until 4 years ago when she made transition. That girl, she knew how to light up a room, not only with her smile, but with her presence, her personality. She was phenomenal. She was certainly a phenomenal young woman, definitely. As siblings, we all didn't always see eye to eye. We had our upside downs, our in-betweens. That's family. You know, that's the sibling relationship that we have. At the end of the day, it's all love. It's all love. And that's what April was. April was all love. She loved with every bit of her body. She loved with every inch of her heart. She would give and give and give to people and just shine her light on them no matter the cost. That's what I remember about my sister. That's what I remember. She was almost like my twin. April Riley, girl, you are truly, truly missed. Though I know that she's in a better place, what I know for certain is that when I look in the mirror, I see my sister. When I wake up and I breathe, I feel my sister's presence because she's always in my heart. When I see my siblings, I see my sister in them. I see her strength in them. I see her talent, her charisma, her love, her intellect in my siblings. We come from a well-made family. And coming from a well-made family, it has taught me how to honor, love, respect life, those that are in my life. April instilled on how to exhibit love for each other. Whether you were her friend, family, or co-worker, she demanded respect. When she showed up, she showed out. And she was the life of the party. No matter where she would be, she'd blend in. On the basketball court, she'd do her thing. She either taught my younger siblings how to play basketball or beat them at basketball. One of the two. I'll let them explain that when they call into the show. So many memories. And just like our listeners, someone is battling cancer today. Someone has a family member, a loved one, or a close friend that's going through cancer. And it's unfortunate that every day we lose someone to this terminal illness. You may feel grief. You may feel depressed. You may experience all the emotional ups and downs that life has to throw at you. And it's okay. I blamed myself for a long time when I lost my sister. Those of you that have lost someone to cancer, you may blame yourself. And it's okay to feel that way. Just know that it is not your fault. It is not your fault. Those that we lose in this life, are we really losing them? Their spirit will always be with us. Their memories will be forever among all of us. It's not every day that I have an opportunity to speak and share family life, tragedies, hurt, pain, sorrow, and triumph with the world as I'm doing today. I guess that's part of the seed that April left behind. I was once very an extroverted person, but when it came to family and when it came to my personal life, oh no, you wouldn't hear any of this. No, I'm pretty shy and pretty introverted, and so it has taken some time for me to kind of come out and talk about, my life, my family's life, and what my sister meant and means to me. So this is a very trying time for the family. I'm going to share some information with you guys about our guest that will be coming up, Miss Sabrina Moore. As I stated, Miss Sabrina Moore she is an author. She is also a cancer survivor, and she will be joining us on this show as well. And I want to give you guys a little bit of information about Miss Moore. She is the wife of Tony Moore from Brooklyn or Lovejoy, Illinois. I had the honor and pleasure of speaking with both of them on yesterday. We don't know what cancer survivors or what cancer patients go through, the hurt, the pain, the loneliness, the chemo, the radiation. It is a lot. It's a lot that they deal with. Through their hurt and their pain, they triumph. Those survivors, they triumph, and those others fight it with their very last breath. And they triumph in the sense that they make transition. They make transition to the other world. God calls them back home. And that's their way of triumphing over the hurt and pain. Unfortunately, we cannot determine when our last day will be on earth. And so our goal and responsibility to each other is to love, respect, and honor each other. And I think my sister April did that. And talk about Miss Sabrina Moore, who was born in Albany, Georgia, and educated in the Georgia public school system. She is the baby of 13 children. Sabrina moved to Lorton, Virginia, immediately after graduating from Monroe Comprehensive High School in 1988. Sabrina also has her associate's and bachelor's degree in business administration from University of Phoenix. Sabrina has been married to Tony for 21 years, and they have one son, Aaron, who currently attends Old Dominion University on a football scholarship. Congratulations, Sabrina. Mr. and Mrs. Moore, congratulations on your success. Congratulations to Aaron. Keep up the great work. God is with you, and you are making your family, your mother and your father, your family and friends very proud of you. I want to say thank you, Aaron, for being that role model, for being that positive black role model in the world. I understand you have talented skills, brother, that will take you far. Stick with it. Life gets challenging. Life throws obstacles at you. As you know, as an athlete, you jump over those obstacles and sometimes go straight through them. And I think you are doing just that. You have a strong source. You have strong role models in your life. Both Tony and Sabrina are strong role models. Sabrina, I want to say again, thank you so much for sharing your life with us and giving us an opportunity to share your story. Tony and Sabrina, they both share one son, Aaron, as I stated, who currently attends Old Dominion University on a football scholarship. Sabrina was diagnosed with breast cancer in July of 2012. Sabrina still doesn't believe she had breast cancer, but she went on this journey to encourage others and lead them to their healing. This was an awesome journey for Sabrina because she was able to encourage and help others get through the pain from their diagnosis. From this journey, the Spirit birthed Not Cancer, My Journey for Your Healing. That is the name of the book that Sabrina wrote. And again, it's called Not Cancer, My Journey for Your Healing. And it is available on Kindle, and she'll tell you the other places where you can purchase that book as well. Sabrina loves to smile, takes photos, and hosts. And she's a great entertainer, and she encourages others. She has a passion and joy to encourage other people. Everyone that knows Sabrina they know that her favorite word is sugar. Shouts out to Mr. and Mrs. Moore. We appreciate you so much. Sabrina, I am honored to have you on the show today to share your story, your hurt, your pain, your triumphs. So we are looking forward to hearing from you in just a little bit. As I opened up earlier, guys, I was talking about my sister, April Riley, who we lost to stage 4 pancreatic cancer 4 years ago. I appreciate all the support. For those of you that are just tuning in, we have created a shoe line in honor of, we sold our first tennis shoe in honor of April. Shout out to Big Game Officials in St. Louis, Missouri. Miss Sarah Woods is a referee. The sister is doing her thing. She's been refereeing for 13 years in St. Louis, Missouri. And we were on the phone. I must have gone through 9 shoe designs, the most ever, okay? The most 9 different shoe designs in honor of April Riley. I think this one is really it. So Sarah Woods ordered her first shoe, and that shoe will be arriving by the 21st of this month. So I am excited to announce that we created a shoe line in honor of my sister, April Riley, and her first shoe sold for $230. We are excited about that. So thank you, Big Game Officials, St. Louis, Missouri. For the mothers that have lost a child, I know that these are trying times for you. These are difficult moments for you. Even my mother, my mama, these are difficult times for you. My mama lost a granddaughter. My mother lost a child. I could not imagine the hurt and pain that each of you and all mothers feel losing a child. My heart, my love, my empathy, my prayers go out to you. For the children that are left behind, my heart, my thoughts, my prayers are forever with you. Those that we have lost to terminal illness, to senseless gun violence, I lift those families up in prayer. May all of your memories continue to be a blessing to everyone whose paths you have crossed. Miss Sabrina Moore, we are coming to you. Hey, Sabrina, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, first of all, I just want to say that, I'm praying for you and your family. I know that it doesn't matter how, it happens, so it affects us different. And from my understanding, your family was a pretty close-knit family, and that's just kind of devastated, the entire family. And I just want to let you know that I'm praying for you and keep you up in prayer, and that God is a comforter. And, it's okay. It's going to be all right, for you and your family, your mom, your brothers, and your siblings. So I just want to encourage you all, by saying that.
Absolutely. We certainly appreciate that.
Tina, did you want me to go ahead and go into it?
Absolutely. Definitely.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Sabrina Moore, and I am a breast cancer survivor per the doctor diagnosis. And I just want to share a little bit about myself today. Well, I was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2012. And when I initially was diagnosed with cancer, I didn't think about the cancer. I thought about being deployed to Afghanistan because that was my goal and my mission. I was on a job where I was given the opportunity to go deploy, and I did the salaries for those positions, so I knew what my salary would be because I made my own salary, and I knew the per diem, the hazard pay, and, military and those who've been deployed know about those type of pays. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be set, and this is what's going to happen. My husband is going to meet me in Dubai. My son was going to meet me in Dubai. We was going to take out Christmas in Dubai of 2013, and we had it all planned. We had everything planned out. But I went to the doctor probably about 4 or 5 times for them to do biopsies. They couldn't find the right position. They couldn't find nothing. They wanted to do it again. I had to keep going back. I was at the doctor's office for almost a full entire work day from maybe 7:30 in the morning to like 4:30 in the afternoon because they kept bringing me back to do tests. I did take breaks in between, but I just ask God, why am I going through this? There's nothing wrong with me. I don't know. They can't find anything. They can't find the right position because there's nothing to find. So why do they keep hounding me and wanting me to stay here? So I went ahead and I just stayed there. I said, okay, because I just need everything done properly because I want to deploy to Afghanistan. And a week later, my results came in, and when I went into the doctor's office, the doctor looked at me, met me at the door. One of the nurses met me at the door. I didn't sign in or anything. I just went straight to the back. And I said, God, what's going on with these people? They're acting very strange, and why are they treating me like this? So as I got to the back, the doctor came out, and she told me, she said, I'm glad you spent the entire day with us last week because your results came back stating that you have breast cancer. You're almost at stage 3. And I said, no, I don't. I didn't get fearful. I didn't, start crying or anything. And I said, okay, God, what is this? I'm talking to myself in my mind, and I'm like, I'm getting ready to go to Afghanistan. This cannot be happening. This will not happen to me, not Sabrina. No, not Sabrina Moore. So as I sat there and I listened to the doctor, and they want to know if I wanted tea and crackers or cookies and soda, water, all this. I know I don't want anything. I want you to tell me when this process will be over so that I can deploy to Afghanistan. I think I asked that question about 5 or 6 times, and eventually the doctor, she was a little upset with me because she didn't understand how could I be talking about deploying when she had just given me the diagnosis of breast cancer. And I kept telling her, I serve a mighty God, and I know that God healed me back when there was nothing that you guys could find on, with the biopsy and all of this, and you kept poking me and, prying, and it was nothing. But, I guess, you had to come up with something. I'm not saying that the doctors didn't know what they were doing. I'm just saying my faith in God was on a different level than theirs. And I just truly believe to this day that the cancer journey that I went on, it wasn't for me. It was so that I could, empower and encourage others. So I went on and I went through the, the treatment or whatever. And in my very first chemo treatment, I heard it was like a man's voice. Someone was standing right behind me, and the voice said, if you encourage others, watch what I do for you. And it shocked me because I'm like, okay, I don't see any men in the room. I asked the nurse if somebody was saying anything, if there was a man in the hallway or anything. And she said, no. So I heard it again. And I looked up, nobody. I didn't see any physical body. I said, okay, God, I hear what you're saying. And on that very first treatment, I wrote on a sheet of paper because I could see in this lady's eyes that she was devastated by going through these treatments. I hadn't spoken to her. I had not talked to her about her, her problem or anything. So she needs to get up and go to the restroom. And I helped her up, and when she went in the restroom, I wrote on a little sheet of paper, Jesus loves you. When she came back out, she screamed, like really screamed, who put this in my chair? I said, God, you told me to put that in her chair. Now you fix this, because I am not getting ready to get in a confrontation with somebody that I don't even know, because I'm trying to follow your lead and do what you told me to do. So I need your help. I can't say anything right now because I don't know how she's going to respond. So as I was finishing up my treatment for that day, the nurse asked me if I put the note in the lady's chair. And I just looked at the nurse. I didn't tell her that I did. I didn't tell her that I didn't, because at this point, I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm checking out, and as I'm checking out, the nurse said, someone is beckoning for you to come back. And it was the lady where I put the note in the chair, and all I could see was tears running down her face. So I went to her and I gave her a hug. We did not have a conversation. I just gave her a hug, and she said, thank you. She cried. I hugged her again, and I left. And I said, okay, God, thank you. Thank you so much, because I was frightened that I didn't know what I was getting ready to encounter. I'm like, I think I heard from the Spirit. God, I've heard from you before, and I know I moved out and things were good. But this right here is just not working for me today. I need your help. But from that day forward, I say, God, show me. Show me who I'm going to encourage. Show me who I can speak to. It doesn't have to be somebody that's going through an illness. It just can be someone who's down or who needs a word of encouragement. But I tell you, from the very beginning, that day, from that first treatment, when I would encounter people, all I did was encourage people. I just encouraged them. And it didn't stop then. I still do it now, but it was like that was my mission at that time. And I knew that I had to accomplish that mission so that I can be encouraged and I could get what God had for me. Because if I would have sat back and not did what the Spirit told me to do, then I probably wouldn't be at the point where I am today. I probably would have been depressed. I probably wouldn't know how to handle things. But because I just truly believed that God allowed me to go through that journey to encourage other people and to help other people through their healing, that's why I am where I am today. And as each treatment went by, as the radiation and the chemo and, the classes, the cancer classes, people couldn't understand why I would smile all the time when I'm going through this. People couldn't understand how I could just be so jolly and all my hair had fallen out from the treatment. People couldn't understand why I would walk around and tell people I didn't have cancer. Well, if you don't have cancer, why are you getting these treatments? And I say it's a process. I know what God told me to do. I'm not doing this for me. I'm in this for somebody else. Everybody has their own story when they go through an illness or, different stages in their life. I say, but this is my story. This is what I believe. I have crazy faith. I was raised to believe and to have faith no matter what was going on. Yes, did I struggle sometime with my faith? Absolutely. Did I struggle not believing, that I was going to be able to encourage the next person? Absolutely, because I didn't know how they were going to respond.
So, Sabrina,
yes,
you were diagnosed with cancer by a physician, and you felt the Spirit of God telling you that you're going to get through this, and you proclaimed that you do not have cancer. However, you did go through the process. You went through the chemo and the radiation. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You went through 1, 2, or 3 phases.
I had 4 treatments of chemo, and I had 72 sessions of radiation.
72 sessions of radiation?
Yes. It was a daily basis, Monday through Friday, yes. Yes, wow. And like I said earlier, there were times when I felt weak, but I said I cannot give up because I know what God told me to do, and I have to follow through. And also at that time, I was getting my degree online. I was basically teaching myself my bachelor's degree. I was a wife. I was a mother, and my son was very involved in football and other sports at that time. So I had to just really have a balance in my life. And I said, okay, God, why are you doing this to me? Why are you choosing me to go through this at this time for other people when I got all this on my plate myself? But I went to the scripture came to mind, God will not put no more on you than what you can bear. And I say, God, I thank you, because evidently I'm a stronger person than the next person in line, that I'm going to be able to stand up, be firm, and go forth and accomplish all that you have for me to do and still come out with victory in the end. I didn't focus on the hair falling out or, everything. Now, in the beginning, I was afraid about taking the chemo, and in the beginning, I did not agree to the treatments because I had heard so many horror stories. Oh, all your hair's going to fall out. You're going to dry up like a prune. You're going to, you're not going to be able to keep anything down. Oh, the radiation's going to burn your skin. You're going to be, be darker for the rest of your life, and you're not going to come back around. And I mean, all this horror stories I had heard. So I was like, I'm not taking this. I'm not taking any treatments. But as I continued to pray about it, and as I continued to, a couple of weeks went by, I said, okay, God, I need you to show me what direction to go in, because I'm not going to Afghanistan because they put this in my record that, I've been diagnosed with breast cancer, whether I take the treatments or not. I said, so there is something in this, and I just need to know what's in this for me. What's in this? Do I have something to give? Is somebody supposed to give me something? And that very first treatment is when my eyes were open. I understood why I was going through this journey. And when I finished my journey, there were some people that I kept in touch with, but unfortunately today I don't have contact with any of those people who I went through, the journey with. But it was trying at some times, but I continued to keep the faith. And I don't know who all on the call, but I sent it out to like a multitude of people. But anyone that was around me during that time, they can testify that I never said that I had cancer. I never cried. I never, was just like down and out. I never was depressed. It was like, I thank God, because I know that it was God in my corner. Because if it wasn't God, I couldn't do this on my own. I couldn't encourage somebody else, and it was people that would actually walk up to me. And I'm sure it was, the Spirit of God sometimes. And sometimes it was just people looking at me by the way that I carried myself and wanted to know how are you maintaining? How are you managing? How? I don't understand how you can do this. My sister or my brother went through this, or I may have went through this, and I was just devastated. I thought I was going to die. I say, no, those thoughts don't come to my mind. I think everything positive. And I say, to be honest, a lot of times I don't even think about myself in the treatment. I'm thinking about the next person and who can I encourage, because I know God's going to do something for me. During this time, when I would encourage people, someone would encourage me. I didn't only encourage people, by words, but it was with deeds and, finances. And it's like every time I would do it, if it's not the same day, the next week, someone was coming to me and they were sowing into my life, whether it was finances, whether it was materialistic things, whether it was a word from God. I mean, it was just like a ricochet effect. And I said, okay, God, I thank you. I see what you're doing. I don't want to stop this. I want to continue to go. But unfortunately, I can't continue to put all those drugs in my body, because chemo is a dangerous drug. And that was one of my main things up front anyway. That's why I did not decide immediately to have the treatment. And I said, okay,
right.
God, I need to know what I'm doing. Why am I here? I don't want this stuff in my body. I've heard the bad things, the side effects. So I need you to show me why. Why am I going through this? And again, that very first treatment, I had my answer. And that's what I took through my entire journey. God said, if you encourage others, watch what I do for you. And the entire journey, it wasn't a roller coaster. It wasn't peaches and cream. It was a journey that God had ordained for me, and I stepped into it with faith. I trusted him with the help of my family members, with the help of my husband, my son's football, the kids around, with my church family, with my siblings on my husband's side and my side, with my nieces and nephews all over the world. I mean, it was like constant. People were calling, texting, or whatever, and that uplifted me so that I could go forth and do what I had to do and encourage others. So
Right.
that's really what kept me going.
So good, good, and I think that when you have that mind frame and you are steadfast and you are affirming in hearing the voice of God, and you are walking in your purpose, and you are not wavering from what you affirm, that takes not just your physical body, but your spiritual body to the next level as well. And I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you for your drive, for your motivation, for being an inspiration for others that are going through what you had to go through and what you have already overcome. Let's talk about this book you wrote.
Okay.
What was the inspiration behind this book that you wrote, and was there a message to specific people?
Well, what inspired me to write the book? Well, first of all, as I was going through my journey, I would jot down things. I would jot down on my treatment, no names, but maybe this female or this lady or this man that I encountered or whatever, and this is what happened on this day. Okay, then I went on the next one. I would just jot things down when I'm at work, and I remember, if something happened, I would jot it down. So about maybe 6 months after I finished my treatment, I think this is going to bless someone. I think I need to write a book about this. And my sisters and I and, other friends, we joked about it for the longest. And I was like, I'm not an author. I'm not doing that. I can just, talk to people, encourage people when I'm around them, and that's good enough. But I continued to write. I continued to write over a span of maybe 2 years. That was like from maybe mid-2013 to mid-2016. And then I just put it on the back burner. I didn't even think about it anymore. I just pushed it back. I was like, no, it's not for me. I can just encourage people, when I see them. But I thought about it often, but it's like it never came to like be a priority for me. So I just, just let it stay dormant. And about a month ago, my niece put a caption on Facebook and wanted to know if anybody needed assistance with writing a book and the steps to go through. I saw it and I scrolled by a couple of times and I went back. I kept going back to it. And I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this because I don't know what I'm holding up. I don't know what blessing I'm holding that belongs to someone else. The book is already pretty much written, so why not just go ahead and publish it? So I inboxed her and told her, that I was interested, and we spoke or whatever, and I told her that the book was pretty much written, and I just need you to just tell me what's next. And she gave me my assignment, and from there, she just took the mantle and she ran with it, and only thing I did was say, what's next? And I don't know if she's on the call or not, because I know she's a woman of God. She's just like has a multitude of streams of income, and she's always over the place, working with someone or trying to help someone in building her businesses. But Lencia, she just took it and she ran with it. And within maybe 3.5 weeks, I'm here today with a published book. And it's on Amazon, it's on Kindle, and she put that out there for me. I just say she put it out there specifically for me. That's just the way I feel about it. But I'm sure there are others who she helped out also. But and that's how it came about. But I do believe that there is something in my book that will inspire others who are going through, those who have came through, who have overcame. It doesn't have to be cancer. It doesn't have to be an illness. It can be, anything what you're struggling with. Because I think the book, even though it's about my cancer journey, it's just encouraging words for people. It doesn't have to be, to a specific area, but it's just life in general. And that's what I want to get the point across. It's not all about, just because you're sick, but people, they don't have to have a sickness in their body to be sick or to be going through something. It could be in their mind. It can be, in their attitude, the way they act, the way they present themselves. So I just pray that the book blesses, everyone who reads it, and, maybe they can sow it into somebody's life that can bless them too. But it's just an awesome opportunity for me to just step out on faith and do what God has called me to do, so that others can be blessed and encouraged. And I know in the end I'm always victorious. Whether the book sells or get up on the New York bestseller, whatever, it doesn't matter, because I'm always going to be victorious. And that's the way I have to continue to look at things, because I don't want to put my faith in a book. Oh, yeah, I'm going to make a lot of money off this book. No, that's not who I am. I'm putting my faith in God. And God, if you told me to do something, I know you got my back, and it's going to explode. So that's where I stand, and that's how the book came into existence. And, I just appreciate everyone who has already purchased the book, everyone who is, pre-ordered and everything. So it's just a blessing. It's a blessing. I just look at it as a blessing.
Sabrina, you're also on social media. First of all, again, congratulations on your first book, and I'm sure second and third book is to follow soon.
Amen.
I feel that in my spirit. I feel
Amen.
that. Where can they find you? Where can our listeners find you on social media? Where are you at on Facebook? How can they find you on Instagram, Twitter, if you're on that?
Okay, my Instagram and my accounts are Brainy Moore at Brainy Moore, BREENIEMO. That is my Instagram and my Twitter, and my Facebook is Sabrina Hodges Moore. That's Sabrina, HODGES, Moore, MOORE.
So that's Sabrina Hodges Moore on Facebook, and Brainy Mo, M-O, that's on Instagram.
And Twitter.
And Facebook. Facebook is Sabrina Hodges Moore. Beautiful, beautiful.
Correct.
So, Sabrina, to our listeners, what message of hope can you share with our listeners that are going through, and those that are listening to our show today?
The message of hope that I would like to share is it's like a multitude of things. First of all, you have to stay focused. Stay focused on God and not on the issues that you're encountering. Keep the faith in difficult times. Don't let your faith go back and forth just because things are happening in the world. We live in I don't even have a word for the world that we're living in right now, but everyone knows what type of world we're living in. But we just have to be so careful who we give our attention to. If we give our attention to negative things, that's probably what you're going to draw in. You must stay positive. Keep your circle positive. Keep people in your circle who's trying to do something, who's trying to, go somewhere. And I'm just going to say this: don't be in a group of lazy people, because if it's a group of lazy people, nothing's going to get done. So, and I also want to say, don't block your blessings and don't block other people's blessings because, your faith and your focus is not in the right place. It's blessings all around us, and we just have to make a choice. Do we want to be blessed or do we want to be cursed? Do we want to move or do we want to stay in the same place? We have to make that decision. No one can make that decision for us. But I'm telling you, I'm a witness. I'm not speaking on something somebody told me. I'm not speaking on something I read. I'm speaking on my life, what I've encountered and what I've been through. I know that God is a God that is faithful. He's true, and he cannot lie. And when you know for a fact that God has told you to do something, do it. Don't just stand there. Don't go around asking everybody, because I'm telling you, if you go around and ask certain people, some things may creep up. Maybe, inconsistency, maybe jealousy, hatred may arise. I'm just speaking from Sabrina's point of view. So just go forth and do what you know that you're supposed to do, and let God order your steps. Don't try to do stuff on your own. Yes, have a master plan. Write it down. Make sure you jot down, what you want to do, and make sure that it lines up with the Word of God. Because if not, it's not going to work. It may work for a little while, but sooner or later it probably will flop. So just stay focused. Keep your focus on God, and just keep the faith. Keep the faith and stay positive.
Absolutely, because God is able, and if God is with you, who can be against you?
Amen.
Straightforward with God, come what may. When the enemy's on your side, you keep going forward, because you're always going to have obstacles. What's that song? Obstacles in my way. You just move around those obstacles. You move through those obstacles, or sometimes you might have to move over those obstacles. You guys are listening to the Affirm Relationship Show, and I am King Ya, the host on the relationship show for tonight. And joining us is Miss Sabrina Moore. She is the author of Not Cancer, My Journey for Your Healing. That's the name of her book. I got tongue-tied for a moment there, and I'm looking directly at it. So, Not Cancer, My Journey for Your Healing.
Correct.
That is by Sabrina Moore. We want to, again, say how appreciative we are to have Miss Sabrina Moore with us and for being an inspiration and a symbol of hope for you. She has a very phenomenal story. She is a cancer survivor, and she has been married for 21 years to Tony Moore from Brooklyn. Tony, I know you're out there. We want to say thank you. I want to say thank you, Mama Teresa and my father, for sharing the story of Sabrina with me and for connecting us. We would not have connected if it had not been for Mama Teresa. So I want to say, Mama Teresa, thank you for connecting Sabrina, Tony, and I for the show for today. So shouts out to Teresa, my dad, my siblings in Virginia. I appreciate you guys, and I love you so much. Sabrina, you've been married for 21 years. What has that been like?
A roller coaster? No, I'm just playing. Well, every marriage has its struggles. So, it's
sure.
We have good days. We've had some bad days. We've been if God is in something, then it's okay. It's okay. No matter what the flesh feels like, no matter what, people see on the outside, you just have to keep the faith. And I've always told people, my son and everybody that's around me, do not allow another person to put you in a position that you don't want to be in. Do not allow another person, just because they have an attitude or they don't like something, you don't have to jump into that. You just stay positive. And it goes for both of us. It's not just him and it's not just me, but this is universal for both of us. You just have to work it. It's work. It's a work. It's a relationship. So you have to work at it. But through it all, God is still God in our lives, and we're still together.
That's good. As they say, God is for you, who can be against you, and what God has put together, let no man tear asunder. So God brought you together for a reason. He brought you together for a season, and he brought you together for a purpose. You are living that purpose together and collectively. Stay strong. Keep the faith. Family first. It's all about family. God honors the man in that relationship just as he honors that woman in the relationship. God, man, woman, child. And it appears that you guys are doing a phenomenal job. You have a son that's playing football and potentially going pro. I see that in his future. I certainly see that in his future. He will be pro. Okay. Yeah, I see it, definitely. Sabrina, it has definitely been a pleasure having you on our show this evening, and your listeners will have access to a free download of the show. It not only helps us with our listenership, it also helps us with our sponsorship. As this is a new platform for my sister, we certainly need your support. We are also on YouTube, Affirm Relationship. That's AFFIRM, Affirm Relationship. And we encourage all of our listeners and supporters to follow us, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also to write a positive review on our social media platform. And for those that are willing to make a donation, you can also do that via the Cash App. That is the $, Affirm Relationship. Wherever you decide to stream your favorite podcasts, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Apple, Spotify. So we are on all of those major platforms. And cannot seem to say thank you enough. So we give God the glory, the honor, and praise for that opportunity. And at this time, I just want to acknowledge certain countries that are also supporting us across the world. We appreciate you. From the United States, we want to thank our listeners in Ireland. We want to thank our listeners in Nepal. We want to thank our listeners in Norway, Vietnam, New Zealand, Canada, Japan, Germany, Morocco. We've got listeners all over just tuning into our show. And if we have forgotten any countries, charge that to my head and not my heart. We appreciate all of our listeners and supporters across the globe. So we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. And if not, we will conclude our show for the evening.
Mm-hmm. And just with closing words for me, I just want to let all the listeners know that it's okay to go through things. We're humans. This is life. Life itself is a struggle sometimes. But we cannot allow the things that happen in this world or in our lives, whether it's, bad relationships or whether it's a sickness or whatever, we cannot conform into those things. We cannot allow those things to take control of us. We have to control those things. And the way we do that, from my perspective, is to stay positive. Don't focus on the situation. Yes, it's there. Not saying that ignore it or whatever, but you just have to stay focused and stay positive and continue to seek the face of God and pray and believe that things is already better. So I just wanted to encourage everyone by saying that, because a lot of times we go through things and we, don't know how to handle it, and we get depressed, and, we want to cry, and we don't want to go to work, and we don't want to do this and don't want to do that. But that's not the way to live. You're not only hurting yourself when you go through things like that, but you're hurting the loved ones around you, the people who love you. So just stay focused on God, not on the issues. Blessings are all around us. So just keep that in mind, when things are happening in your life. Just keep your head up and say, I've gotten over something else before, and this here is nothing. It's just a test, and I will conquer, and I will come out victorious.
This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Amen to that. Thank you so much, Sabrina. Mrs. Sabrina Moore, we certainly appreciate having you on, and great words of wisdom from Mrs. Sabrina Moore. We're looking forward to her second and third book, and we're also looking forward to having her back on our show again in the near future. So, Sabrina, it has been a blessing having you on the show, and I'd like to say from my heart to yours, to your family, from ours, we certainly appreciate, we love, and we admire the work that your family is doing. May God continue to bless you, shine his light upon you and your family and your loved ones as well. May God continue to bless you, and I pray for peace, love, and abundance upon your family. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have the Affirm Relationship page on Instagram. You guys can follow Affirm Relationship on Instagram, on YouTube, and wherever you stream your favorite podcasts, you can find us there as well. We are on all of those platforms: Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, TuneIn. We have been fortunately we have been blessed to have those platforms, or the many platforms that we are on. So all praises and honor due to God for sure. All right, guys, we are out of here. Until next time, everybody have a good night and be blessed. I am King Yah, the host for the Affirm Relationship podcast and radio network. Everybody have a good night.